Ivy Valentine subscribes to Mark Yoon, so should you. Enjoy your treat!
So there's actually a lot to talk about when concerning the invasion mode for Mortal Kombat 1, and I want to discuss that entire mode today, tell you the good, the bad, and just give you an overall review and what you can possibly expect from the mode since the game is launching tomorrow on Tuesday. And I want to see the collective thoughts from you guys, especially in the poll at the end of the video, and let's just jump into it. So for starters, this was the mode I was most interested in when going into this game. So jumping into invasion mode, I was kind of, I don't want to say excited, I was like cautiously ambitious, I guess. I didn't know what it was going to entail. I didn't go into it, I didn't research it before like I actually started my journey. I just hopped in. So a few of the good things that you can start off with, there are some RPG mechanics here which you level up and you actually get like points allocated towards your character, and you can choose to either put them yourself or you can have them automatically like leveled off in your HP and all that other stuff. But I assume most people are actually just going to do automatic unless they're looking for very specific builds. And you have an overworld map which doesn't really do much. There's no interaction with anybody. You can't actually like talk to anybody outside of like the Forge, Shokan, or the Collector, who is like your item shop. Beyond that, there's like no special interactions. There are occasional bosses that are like standing there, and like if you defeat them, you can get like a costume and some stuff. At least that's been my experience. And there is some somewhat exchange with that, but other than that, you're usually just like walking around from point to point to point, doing different battles with different modifiers on those battles. Now, there are some annoying things about the battle combat system in this mode in particular that are different from the other modes in the game. One of them being super armor. So they teach you pretty early on about super armor. So when the opposite character you're fighting is doing like a move or something, they automatically have like super armor applied to them. And when it like turns blue for like a split second, that's when you're actually able to attack them. And this is really annoying for when you're trying to like line combo strings and stuff, because they'll just go into super armor mode and like end your combo. And though I do like the cameo system, being having to be stationary and still in order to use the cameo system is a little bit of a downside in this mode in particular. Because if you're trying to get out of something while they're in their super armor, you can't really launch your cameo character or their attack until you're like standing stationary. So you can't be on the ground, you can't be in the air, you can't be being juggled, you can't be being comboed. You just kind of gotta like pop up, hit the R1 button, and that's it. For what I've seen mostly, there's like get out of jail free cards for certain characters. Like I noticed Sub-Zero will like blast like ice out of the way so you can get out of the way, and you can use unique like finishers with them by doing like some kind of input with like back, forward, back, and then like the R1 button to finish it off, and then your cameo will do the fatality as opposed to you. But the fighting combat is a little different from other modes because of that super armor, and you do feel it after a while, especially when that super armor is combined with a ton of different modifiers that are going on, because there will be occasional towers that pop up in that mode, and I almost said conquest mode, and some of those towers have like 4 effects on them or something, right? It'll be like electric ball flying out of the sky, plus like fire tornadoes, this and that. And that gets to my next part. There's like elements. So following the RPG mechanics that they're actually going for in this mode, at least lightly teasing in this mode, you have elements that are strong against each other. You have elements such as like magic though, and blood, and you have your standard fire and ice and all that stuff. And you have these talisman that you can level up at the Forge and equip or upgrade, and you get them for rewards a lot. You can only carry a certain amount, so you're going to be deleting a lot, so it's usually good to focus on just like a few different builds for different areas. For example, if you're using the talisman, you can actually use them in battle by like pressing the R stick and it'll actually fire. Some of them only have like 1 shot, some of them have like 3, and they need to be recharged after they're done. It doesn't automatically refill after each battle. You need to go back and visit the Forge to recharge your talisman, which can be annoying, but I ended up not using them at all because they do come with like some basic stat increases as well, and I just used that for the passive. On top of that, then you also have a relic system in which like that gives you certain benefits and buffs that you can also equip to your character. And with these two combined, you should be able to be okay. I haven't lost really any matches except for server issues, which we'll get to. But I will say that the test your might things, like they change a little bit also in this mode. So whenever I encountered test your might in the story mode, it was more like just get it above this bar and that's it. But this is more traditional, like you have a little area of effect in which you need to build up the bar, and then once it's in there, it can't go past or under or you'll fail. And in the towers, it can be a problem because if you don't get it on the first try, that counts as like a fail. And a lot of like the progression items, like let's say you need to get Madame Beau's key or something like that to go on to the next level, those are usually in towers that you have to defeat. Now there are other types of battles in this mode. There's like multi-battles, well, like you'll see like 3 opponents that you gotta take down. Usually they're like just the characters from the game, but like using a different costume, and their names will be different. It'll be like Nameless Warrior, or like I don't know, Su Hao's second cousin twice removed. There's like stuff like that going on. So it feels a little bit fluffy, but it all leads up to like these boss fights that you have. And like I said, these boss fights are like a 3-part fight, and usually like the last part they have some kind of like buff armor and stuff like that, and it's more like of a traditional actual Mortal Kombat fight. And when you're finished, like I said before, you usually get like a costume or something like that. So this mode is like definitely the best mode to farm those coins for the item shop, and the coins that you actually need for the shrine, because that unlocks items as well. There's a lot going on here, but also not a lot at the same time. And the thing I want to cover next is the server issues I found. So as you'll see on screen, I was getting several server issues and errors that were popping up, and it would boot me out of the mode. And it only happened in this mode. It didn't happen in story mode. It would constantly try to connect to the servers, and then it would kick me out, and I'd have to start all over again. And I would lose whatever progress I was, and it would happen in the middle of fights as well. So it was a little annoying. Sometimes I kind of saw it coming because I would get these weird glitches that would be like no contact audio. So while I'm in the middle of a fight, like the punches and kicks and the special attacks and all that, the audio would just stop. Meanwhile, the music audio is still going on, the other sound effects, the characters like voices, it's just like all the contact stuff is just done. And then usually like I would get like a server error after that happened for a while, which definitely broke immersion at some points and was definitely annoying. I will say that I ended up stopped playing yesterday at like 1 o'clock, just because like I kept getting booted out, and like I would have to replay fights like sometimes 3 times in a row, and there was no server maintenance issue. I know the game's not actually releasing until tomorrow, so perhaps they're still working on it. Maybe the servers are not equipped to have this many people that pre-ordered the premium edition. I have no idea, but those issues did exist. And then in doing some research looking back on it when I was trying to figure out what was going on, I found a bunch of Reddit forums that were actually talking about the same thing happening in like Mortal Kombat like 10 and 11, so maybe it's something that NRS just needs to work on, I guess, server side. But whatever maintenance notwithstanding, and whatever glitches that are caused by the actual constant DRM and happen to be online all the time, while I was playing, it was kind of fun. I say kind of because it feels like it's like a glorified tower, if that makes sense, and just going down linear paths to like get to the next fight like you're on like an overworld for Super Mario Brothers was a little like weird. It was cool at first in like Johnny Cage's mansion, but then like you unlock like a bunch of different areas to travel to through portals, and it's all pretty much the same. If you've seen one area, you've seen them all. I haven't beaten the mode yet, but I have unlocked like 70% of it, and some of it's just like the Wuxi Academy or whatever. It's like, oh, you just go there to do training. So the entire mode is just like a training mode for like testing your kits and testing what characters and cameos work well with you and stuff like that. Now, your characters and your cameos do level up together, so like you are constantly hitting a progression meter, and that does unlock things like the background icons for your profile card, different palettes, and not costumes, but palettes for your cameo characters, just things of that nature. It's like pretty interesting. You unlock brutalities and stuff from leveling up. Though when I try to equip them, it says that I need to like do a training with them or something in order to like actually equip it, so I didn't get really to test out too much more on that end. I have about 20 hours in the game already, which I know is not a huge significant amount of time, but like story mode didn't take me that long, so I've probably spent maybe 12 hours in this mode so far. And I think it gave me a good enough chance to like be able to talk about this kind of stuff. There's not much really else to cover about this mode. It does get old very fast. Like it seems like, I don't want to say it was slapped together, because I do enjoy it sometimes, like when the servers are actually running, but it just seems like you're entering a glorified tower, and like the only difference is like your character like moves, and you're not even manually moving it. It's on like a set rail track from point to point. You just press over which way you want them to go, and then some paths are locked off and you need to go to separate towers to get the item to unlock that area. There's some chests and stuff that have stuff, which is pretty cool. There's these like levels that you go into where you'll have like a 3-tiered system of chests at the end, and possibly like a test your might or whatever. You get some pretty good stuff from that, though I don't know exactly what triggers that, but a portal will open up and you actually go through a portal, and that's what that goes. It's usually at like the end of a path somewhere where you need to go somewhere, but like it's a branch that goes back, because there's like a green arrow indicator telling you if there's a fight coming next. So you would go towards that area, like traditionally. And like I said, it's pretty linear. You can choose your character, and they do come equipped with like whatever costume that you have them equipped with, but you can't do that in the mode. All you can do is select them and select your cameo. So you'd have to actually go back to the customize page and customize your character there for them to show up that way in the mode, which you'll see with some of the gameplay that I recorded. But I don't know, other than that, like, I do like the mode. I think it's fun. I always like having extra single player content to go through. I don't like the DRM system that's always online, because these server issues are really causing like a lot of stoppage in playtime. And I know it's because on a certain island you get like the different towers, like the weekly tower and the daily tower and stuff like that. But other than that, I'm still having fun. I still want to play it. Like, it's not like I stopped playing it. I just had to take a break because the server issues were not allowing me to do anything. But hopefully that issue is resolved soon and I can get back to it. So to rate this mode, I don't think I've left anything out. You can let me know in the comment section if I did, because I just fly off the cuff with this stuff. I'm going to give this mode a 6 out of 10. I think it's slightly better than like a tower mode, or a little bit above average, but there is some fun to be had here, but it's few and far between, and I think most people are just going to see it as tedious and might just skip the mode altogether, and try to unlock stuff via the sacrificing coins to the shrine. I'm still going to play the mode because like it's one of the only single player experiences in the game outside of the story, which the campaign of the story is really short, so you're going to be beating that in a day. I literally beat it in one sitting. But outside of that, yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts if you've actually played it. So there will be a poll up at the end of this video on the community tab talking about just your overall thoughts on this, and I implore you to go vote on that just so I can talk about it in the next video. And that leads us into the poll from the last video. So the poll that I actually posted up on the last video, what was talking about the story mode review, was just from what you've heard, seen, or played, what is your overall view of the Mortal Kombat 1 story? 52% of people said that they love it, 30% of people said they like it, 14% of people said they're indifferent, and 4% of people said they hated it. This is out of a poll of 224 votes, and you can see the comments on the screen as we're talking about it. And once again, guys, I want to thank you for sticking through these longer videos. Like these reviews, I have to kind of go into a lot of the nitty-gritty just so people know what they're getting into. So it's not like a normal 10-minute video, but I want to thank you for sticking through this. Last time I told you to put Hadouken if you got to the end of the thing. If you actually get to the end of this video, I would like you to put "get over here" in the comment section, just so I know that you got to the end of the video. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to spend it with me. And any and all thoughts are always welcome in the comment section down below. Feel free to jump into links down below and join the Discord. Any and all thoughts are always welcome. As I always say, guys, I love it. Thank you.
And thank you.